So the Glazers could be set to stay at Manchester United after this 9-month sale negotiation process. It is coming out from Samuel Luckhurst that the Glazers look like they are unlikely to sell Manchester United. It's bad news for Manchester United this week, and this is honestly terrible. It's just massive disrespect to all the fans. It's disgusting. The Glazers have treated the fans like, scum on the bottom of their shoe for years, but this obviously tops the lot. Actually hinting and basically putting it out there that you are going to sell this club. We were told that they were going to sell it in October, then it came to January, then it was March, then the deadline for the highest bidder was April, then it was the summer and it was the transfer window, and we're going to focus on transfers. After the transfer window is over, that's when we'll look to sell the club. Then it was latest that we heard it could be done by January transfer window, and now it's coming out from Samuel Luckhurst, who is very close to the club, that it's looking unlikely that the Glazers are going to sell. I'm tired of it. I'm honestly so tired of it. It's so frustrating to be a Man United fan and deal with these owners. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. I really don't like to use the word hate. It's a very strong word, but it's a word that comes to mind when speaking about the Glazers, because they are disgusting people for doing this to all of the fans of Manchester United. For what? Hoping they can maybe squeeze a few more dollars out of this. Dollars, because they're American, as you would say. But that's how it's working. They bought the club on debt. They have the opportunity to sell it for billions. $6 billion they have the opportunity to sell this club for. And Joel and Avram want to stay. It hopes they can get maybe a little bit more money out of it. The selfish greed that comes to that this kind of entails is disgusting, especially for all the fans. And I wouldn't mind if they actually ran the club well. If we ran the club well, you'd be here like, you can understand it. But they have been leeches off this football club for years on end. And it's just going to continue until they leave the club, taking dividends out, not investing into the club, not investing into facilities. I've said it time and time again, but the news that's coming out, and then I'll speak about it, is coming from Samuel Luckhurst. Sources say that there is a real concern that the Glazers may not sell Manchester United. Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani is still awaiting a response from the Glazer family for his submission to buy Manchester United. Here is where it gets interesting, and here is where, for me, it puts the nail in the coffin. Samuel Luckhurst says a financial source claimed figures connected to the Rain Group, the investment banking firm hired by the Glazers, believe they have been tasked with selling something that isn't really up for sale. So basically, the Rain Group feel like they've been tasked to sell something that hasn't really been sellable all along. It's like when you put your house up for sale just because you want to kind of see what sort of offers you'll get in, but you actually kind of want to keep hold of it. You just want to see what the valuation of it is. What you would do, what normal people would do, what anybody with, a brain would do, is get a valuation of the company, of the asset. And that's exactly what the Glazers did. They had an evaluation of the company, of Manchester United had, and it was lower than what they wanted. Maybe they've put it up for sale just to see how high the bids that can go. And if they have, they've wasted the Sheikh's time, Sheikh bin Hamad Al Thani's time, Sheikh Jassim's time, and they've wasted Jim Ratcliffe's time. They've wasted everybody's time involved with this. And on top of it all, they've massively disappointed a lot of the fan base and disrespected them. It is disrespect because the fans had their hopes up that this was going to happen, and we've been led to believe that a sale was going to happen. And for that to be now potentially called off is a massive slap in the face. It's a massive slap in the face to the fans. And you hear people coming out saying, rival fans a lot of the time, but you have the highest transfer spend. You always spend money in transfer windows. Like, they've spent billions. How much more do you want them to spend? Regarding you complaining over nothing. You don't understand it unless you're a Man United fan. And the fact is, the Glazers haven't invested 1 cent of their personal money. 1 cent. The money that we spend in transfer windows is the money that the club earns through its fans and through revenue. Through its fan base. It's nothing that's been put in there, invested by the Glazers. Nothing has been invested. Not a cent of theirs has been put in. If you look at our stadium and you look at the facilities, and I absolutely love Old Trafford. I love it. It's a place where memories have been captured over the years, and there's been amazing times there. But we haven't kept the upkeep with it. We haven't. And Old Trafford could still be a top stadium if we would have actually, remained in the upkeep of it. But we've not done that. It's leaking, there's leaks everywhere, it's, toilets were flooding last season. It's unacceptable. You look at the facilities in the training ground, it's not up to the standard of all of the other top teams. I mean, look at what City are doing with the Etihad and building all these facilities and planning to extend. Even look at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and the kind of the structure that is. If you look at Man United, we're way behind everybody else, way behind. So it's frustrating. It really, really is frustrating. Manchester United are behind the times in terms of the stadium, the training facilities, and they don't put a dime of investment into any of the windows for us, because they don't put the investment into the windows, but they also don't invest it into the team and into the facilities. And it's just frustrating. It really is frustrating. So that's where I would come back on that one. But what is kind of the killer in this is that the Glazer siblings, the reason why this has been going on for so long is because they can't agree on what to do. It's been coming out by very, very good sources that the Glazer siblings, all of them want to sell, bar Avram and Joel Glazer. Avram and Joel, you know, the double act, the duo, they don't want to sell the club. And that's where they're at. They're at a clash here, because a lot of them just want to cash out and thank you, because that's what we want as well. But Joel and Avram want to keep holding out in hopes that they could get more money. Maybe they've seen what Ten Hag is doing with his team. I would still say, people would laugh when I said limited resources. It's not limited resources, but he's got a hand tied behind his back. He really has. He really has. He has done. He has done, as all managers have been with Manchester United with the Glazers there. So maybe they've seen what Ten Hag can do with limited options. Maybe they've seen, you know, all of the competitions that are coming into play, the new UEFA competitions, the new money that you get for being in the Champions League, you know, ideas of a Super Cup. Maybe they've seen this and the Club World Cup as well and thought, you know what, there's money there to be had. And again, it just stinks of greed and it's disrespectful to the fan base. But this is where we're at on this subject, and I'm just going to look a little bit to see if there's anything else come out while I've been recording this, to see if anything else has happened. But from what I can see, and this is what you've got to take into consideration as well, this isn't just any random journalist saying this. This is with great respect to Samuel Luckhurst. He's got connections at Manchester United. He's got connections to the club. And he doesn't put anything out there unless he's got a good source on it. So this is where you start to worry. I'm going to be honest, I still think Man United is going to get sold. Maybe that's blind naivety. Maybe that's blind hope, because that's what I want to happen. But the uproar that will happen if Man United don't get sold by the fans, the reason why the protests have maybe laid off a little bit, and we've still got all the Glazers out in the ground. You've got Glazers out every single game. The Cup finally had it. The start of the season we've had it. You can hear it through the TV. The Glazers out is still massively ongoing. But the reason maybe why the extent of the protests since, you know, the one before the Liverpool game has died down is because we heard news that they were going to sell the club. So people were thinking in January, the transfer window of Weghorst and Sabitzer in January, when we were up there challenging, it was a disgrace. The reason why you didn't hear more about it is because in the back of the minds of the fans, they were like, you know what, they're going to sell eventually, so let's just get on with it. We thought they weren't spending money because they were cashing out. That's what the fans thought. To now turn your back on that, there's going to be massive uproar. There's going to be turbulent protests put in place by the Man United fans. And I don't think it's something that can ever be quietened. And I just don't think it's something that can happen. I just don't see it. The response is going to be absolutely huge on this. But yeah, Sheikh Jassim is still waiting a response on the Glazers regarding his bid to buy Manchester United. But this is where we're at, everyone. This is where we're at with this. And it's so disappointing. It's so disrespectful to the fans. And just make sure you do your bit for Glazers out, because that's what we all need to do right now. And we'll continue to try and do our bit at the United Stand as well. Thank you everyone for watching. Sound off in the comments what you think about this. It's disgusting, it's disappointing, but it's not surprising. And that's what you should take away from this. It's not surprising, because this is the Glazers we're talking about, and these are the people that have been leeching off the club ever since they came into power from buying it on debt, which is now illegal to do. It should never have happened in the first place. But this is where we're at. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully we get a turnaround in this news and we'll be here to break it for you. But thanks everyone. We'll see you on the next one.